Okay, for our next project, we're going to be creating jigsaw puzzles. And what's important about these jigsaw puzzles is that they look like a real jigsaw puzzle being assembled. Know that jigsaw puzzles can be cartoons, they can be realistic. It doesn't matter what it is. I want you to choose something under your concentration. And I want you to create some preliminaries and some doodles and photograph me an image of your sketchbook and all of your preliminaries and your studies that you plan on doing. Okay, so that's the first step that you're going to do. Then you're going to take a piece of illustration board, you're going to sketch out your image on it, and you're going to take puzzle pieces from a children's puzzle and trace them on top of it. That's pretty easy. But what's important to me is that it looks like it's being assembled, okay? So I want your puzzle pieces to have this dimension like this. So you're going to have to use a little bit of perspective. So you see the edge of the piece, as well as having pieces missing and shifted. All right, I'm going to show you some examples of this. Some are good and some are bad. So I'm going to analyze it. It's not that the drawings are bad. It's that they didn't pull off the illusion. All right, so this first one is Superman. Superman here was drawn on a piece of illustration board, and the person traced the pieces like they were supposed to. And I think the image was that they wanted to make it look like kryptonite. Like, you know, Superman and kryptonite is their background. So instead of it being on a surface, they wanted it on a surface of kryptonite. But the problem is the kryptonite has become the main emphasis and not the Superman. Like, it looks like this puzzle piece here is on top of an illustration. That's not what we're looking for. I want this to look as if this is the puzzle and this is the background. All right. So here's a good example of that. Beautiful colored pencil work. But the background is this wood grain table. And this puzzle is being assembled on top of it. You can see the pencil lines in here. You can see the edge of the piece. All right. That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for. Sometimes the backgrounds become a little busy and they distract from the puzzle. Here's an example of that. Wood grain, beautifully done as far as you can see the puzzle assembled on a wood grain surface. But the wood grain is a little distracting from the colors here in the puzzle of the lighthouse. And I think this water reflections, the colors are just too close. All right. Here's another one. Mizzou being assembled on top of a wood table. The wood table is very close to the color of the basketball. Maybe if this basketball was burnished down a little darker reddish brown color, it would be okay. All right. But the puzzle itself, gorgeous, beautifully done. You can see that edge I'm talking about. You can see it on top of a surface. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Pieces are missing. Pieces are shifted. Very nice. Nice. Perfect. This piece comes from here. This piece comes from here. This one goes there. This one goes there. Talk about movement. Okay. It's a cartoon of a puzzle. No problem with that. But what I'm looking for is a real puzzle. This one took some thought, and I'm going to show you that here in a minute. Here is one of a Coca-Cola bottle being spilled, and they decided to make it on the table. I thought that was quite clever. These puzzle pieces are phenomenal as far as the 3D look to them. Very, very impressed with that. This one, the background distracts from the actual puzzle. These two colors are too close. Maybe if this background would have been a different color, it would have made a world of difference. And all it is they decided to put yellow here. And it's probably because they're the colors of heat, but yeah, bad choice there. This one's got way too much going on. Way too busy of a background. Very nice. Very nice. Very proud of it. Another one, very nice. This person decided to paint the background. Painted it all black. Then he had to take a piece of paper and mask this off so we could flick the stars on without getting them on the puzzle. That took some thought. Okay, very nicely done. Here's a child's play. Another really cool one. Wildcat, that was our old school mascot where I used to work. And you can see the actual pieces and where they were taken from. Very impressive piece. Beautiful colored pencil work. Another one, gorgeous. Another one, gorgeous. I'm a huge Walter Payton fan. This is mine. And the last one is done by Dee Archdeacon. She went here to Lee Summit. She used a combination of markers and color pencils on her puzzle. I know you have to look really close for the pencil lines, and she just put it on a simple black background. Beautifully done. Okay, so there's some examples of what I'm looking for. Now I want to talk to you about the project. I sketched out the horse, okay, really quick. I'm a horrible horse person. I know I'm having some issues here with the width of the head, but yeah, anyway, I wanted to, for the sake of demo, get this going. So the first thing you're going to do is do some research, all right? You're going to do some doodles in a sketchbook. You're going to find reference photos. I know you may not have a printer at home to print your reference photos, but you could do some little preliminaries on a piece of paper, okay? Do preliminary drawings of your images. Then in your kit, you should have some children's jigsaw puzzle pieces. I think I gave you one with a straight edge and one that has no edge, all right? You do need children's pieces. If you have a puzzle at home and it's the 1,000-piece puzzles, you're going to go crazy. You'll have too many pieces in this, okay? So here is a sketch. I drew out my horse. So let's say, for instance, I'm going to do a horse as my study here, as my inspirational piece. Let's give the camera a minute to catch up. There we go. I have trouble with lighting because I'm by a window. So I sketched out my horse and it fills my board. You are going to use your illustration board that is larger. It is 16 by 20 inches. If you want to measure it, it's quite large, about the length of my arm. Okay, 16 by 20. I have the smaller one here just because I can't get the 16 by 20 under the camera. Okay, there's no way I could possibly show it to you. I'm showing you the edge here, the bottom edge. All right, so how you're going to start is you're going to take your puzzle piece, no matter what puzzle piece it is, and you're going to line it up with the edge. If you look at these pieces, they have notches and bumps, okay? And if you put together an entire children's puzzle, if you really want a whole puzzle, you can run to the Dollar Tree. They have a ton of them if you're willing to spend $1, but you don't have to. You're going to take one of your puzzle pieces and you're going to line it up with the edge, okay? Notice I have the bump hanging off. I'm going to line it up with the edge, and I'm going to take my puzzle. I'm pressing hard so you can see it under the camera. And I'm tracing it, okay? So that's one piece done. I could take this one and line it up here. I don't want to trace this because it really doesn't fit in there. But I'm going to use it to decide on this piece here. Now, when you assemble a real puzzle, you would not always have bumps going down, down, down. They tend to go down, then up, then down, then up across the puzzle, all right? So you may have to do a little bit of turning. This one only has one notch. We could do this. And trace it that way. That's believable, okay? Now the next one would go down again. So I could take this and trace it again. See how it's starting to work? But now something's happening. These are all notching this direction. So maybe, for the sake of realism, let's erase that. Don't press hard, okay? And do something like this. So it's a little more believable that I have some pieces going other directions. Now I have a big gap here that I'm really not liking. I could take another piece. You have the other one like this. See if I can get it to fit. I think I can. I need a bump going up because these two go up and these two go down. So now I'm starting to get some believable pieces going on here. All right, let's take this piece and turn it this way. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm making up a puzzle by sometimes tracing the sides, sometimes not. Okay, I can use the exact same piece here, but this one goes down, so this one I'm going to pull up. And I'm going to trace this side, and it doesn't really go across, so I'm going to do something like that. You can see what I'm doing here, and you're going to fill up your board. Okay, this one I need a notch going up. Let's turn it this way so they don't look the same. Notch going up, and we want this to line up with this corner. And my puzzle piece does not line up with that corner, but we're going to make it line up with that corner. Believable, okay? So I've got these two pieces I've been using the entire time. That notch goes up, so I'm going to turn this one down. We're going to do something like that. Okay? Now, let's say, for instance, I want something moved. You have a piece of tracing paper in your kit. This is tracing paper. If you don't have tracing paper, it's also called vellum. You might be able to get printer paper or some line paper that's really thin. The idea is that you can see through the piece. Okay? So I'm going to take a piece of this paper and I'm going to take this one and I'm going to shift it on my puzzle. This is, of course, after I get it all traced. So I'm going to take this one here and I'm going to outline it on my tracing paper. And I'm going to trace everything, mine didn't really fit on my tracing paper, inside it. So I had a line from the horse here, his hair. Okay, that's really all that shows, or his skin here. It could be the eye. If you're doing a portrait of someone, it could be a hand. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is. Now I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to erase what is inside here, and it might be quite a bit. I'm going to put a little X here so that I know that I'm going to make that into a table later. So that's going to be something missing. Now I'm going to take this tracing paper and I'm going to shift it. Let's put it up here on my puzzle. Okay. To do this, I turn my tracing paper over, okay, and I scribble all over the back of it. I don't want to do it on top of here because it'll transfer. So I'm doing it over here to the side. I'll show you in a minute what I'm doing. I'm putting graphite all over the back of my drawing. Okay, so there it is. I scribbled all over the back of this. You can see through it. It works. You sharpened my pencil. All right, now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to put it up here. Let's tip it. And I'm tracing it again. What's happening is all the pencil that I scribbled on the back side of this tracing paper is going to transfer onto my drawing. Ta-da, there it is. Okay? Come on, camera, focus. There it goes. Now, I don't want to have this image in here. That's not it. What's going to be there is this line right here. I forgot to trace on top of that. It's going to be something like that. Okay? So that's what's going to show up. So this piece now has become here. So then I've got to do some more tracing. I've got to finish up this piece. I'm going to shift it over. So you have to do a little bit of finagling because I only gave you a couple pieces. But come on, you can use your brain. You can figure this out. That works. Let's turn it. Whoop, I want to go down. Need a down piece. And then this piece is going to be here underneath it. See what's happening? And this piece is shifted from over here. Kind of strange. But you're filling up this whole entire thing, okay? Let's say, for instance, you do a portrait of a person and you're really having trouble with the hands. I am not a hand person. I really struggle with hands. So that is when I would actually take a piece and I would erase it, okay? I'm having trouble right here on the nose. So technically, I could have that piece missing if I wanted to. Let's see, this one would go up. So what I could do is erase, inside here, and I would have nothing there. Still having camera issues. So this piece is missing. That would be table, and this piece would be table. All right, so part of the horse's nose is missing now. So that's cool. It solves my problem. And I would continue to finish up my puzzle underneath. It is quite the challenge if you end up having part of your puzzle missing. I'm going to be really impressed if you have pieces missing and really impressed if you have pieces shifted. Okay? So that's what I'm looking for in this to give you a little bit of logistics. Then what I suggest you do is watch the videos that I introduced on here on working with colored pencils. You are going to color pencil your entire project. Okay, that one the horse's head's going to show. You're going to color pencil the entire project with Prismacolors. You're going to burnish, like in the video. Okay, your board is a little bit bigger, so you're going to have a lot more pieces than I have here. You can have quite a bit missing. Come on, camera, focus. So this is going to be missing. This is going to be missing. And maybe I should have all this up here missing. Like it hasn't been assembled yet. So it's not like it's that big of a deal that you have that huge of a board. Because you can have quite a bit of it table. So then this is all going to be table too. All right. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Then you're going to take your colored pencils and you're going to color the entire thing. One thing I forgot about. If this is missing and that's table, I would see the edge of this puzzle. So if I take a puzzle piece and I tip it, I'm talking about drawing this edge here. So I would have something showing like this. You'd have a little bit of perspective. And when I tipped that piece, if you notice, it's gray. So this would be colored in a gray color. It would also appear here. It would appear here. Where else would it be? Maybe I would pick a side, one of the sides too. Maybe it would be here and here. Something like that. Oops. Then I would also have one here. And everywhere that I have a hole in the table is where that will occur. Like this would occur here. You start to see what I'm doing? I wish I could help you with this in person. The only way I could do it is maybe if you shot me a picture, sent me a photograph if you're struggling, and I could draw on top of the photo and send it back to you to show you some things. All right? It's really confusing. You do have to pay attention to what you're doing. You can't just be coloring and drawing while you're watching a movie. Make sure that you're accurate. And then after you get it all drawn, spend some time.